here on the Tensas River, in the Mobile River Delta. It's a place I'm familiar with. I've spent a lot of time here. In fact, I've paddled this river from one end to the other. I have paddled the Mobile River Delta from the far north end all the way to Mobile Bay, and I paddled a lot east to west as well. One particular trip that comes to mind that it is forever etched, if you will, in the recesses of my girls' memories anyway. Bay and Kate and I and Travis Martin and his daughter Anna, we set out from a place north of here, not too far, and we paddled I think it was about 40 miles all total over 3 days and 2 nights. The first day and night were relatively uneventful. The second day, fog set in that morning, and it was one of those things where I was just a little bit, concerned, a little worried, a little unsure of myself. It wasn't that the fog itself necessarily scared me, but it was the fact that the people in the river wouldn't be able to see us as we paddled. And so there was this challenge ahead of us that, you know what, I wasn't sure if we were up for the task. I wasn't sure if it was safe. I was tempted to just stay right where I was, frozen, and not really do anything to upset the apple cart, so to speak. And still we had to press on. You know, life's like that too. We can't just sit in fear when we don't know what to do in life. We can't just pull our head in the turtle shell of protection and hope that nothing happens. The reality is life keeps moving forward, and we have to go with it. And so we couldn't just sit there at that camp in the middle of the swamp forever. We had to paddle. So we left that morning and struck out 17 miles, but we left late. And so that night it got dark. And I know that the girls were scared that night. They told me later that one or both of them at various times were crying because of how fearful they were of the dark, of the things that lurked in the middle of the swamp, in the middle of the dark. And yet they too realized they had to press on. You know, Isaiah 41:10 says this. It says, the Bible says, "Fear not, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you, I will help you, and I will uphold you with my righteous hand." You know, I was the girls' daddy. I was going to do whatever I could to help them, protect them, get them to where we were trying to go. And as hard as it was kind of like Banks pulling that kayak up that bank. As hard as it was, I wasn't going to give up on them, and I knew they weren't going to give up either. And so we just had to keep pushing forward. I had to have faith that everything was going to be okay. You know, Banks was pulling more than just her weight that day, pulling that kayak around, and it was a mission for her, and she was going to see it through. I was pulling more than my weight that day in the Delta, trying to get the girls to our next camping, and I was going to see it through. And oftentimes in life, we find really big challenges ahead of us. And the question is, are we going to pull more than our weight? Or are we going to avoid the challenge altogether? You know, I think there are a lot of people who have anxiety about the challenges of life, and they'd rather not engage the challenge than try and fail or try and not know what to do. And so I just want to remind you, Philippians 4:13, you truly can do all things through Christ, because he does strengthen you. You know, James 1:3 also reminds us that the testing of our faith produces steadfastness. And I know this. I know that my girls, they are stronger women. They are better prepared for the world because of the test that we endured, those 17 miles, many of which were at night. We didn't make our camp until close to midnight on that trip. I know that it tested them, but they are better for it. And I know this. I know that when when life gives us testings of our faith, that it does produce steadfastness. And so let me ask you, are you avoiding the difficulties of life? How could your faith help you confront those challenges? I want to challenge you. Don't avoid them. Meet them head on. God's with you the whole way, and He's prepared you for everything that's yet to come. I love y'all. I think I'm going to go paddle a little bit. Have a great Sunday.